Recently, Narok Senator Ledama Olekina found himself on the wrong side of the law, but is not short of supporters. Some say he speaks from the heart. He says things that others will really wish to speak about, but they are afraid of the repercussions of saying them. It's also a week when CS Henry Rotich turned up in court only to be told he has to wait for another 30 days. One suspect wants his name out of the case, and details begin to emerge over the SGR deal, and I tell you, questions are piling. Later on the show, my guest reflects on the cartoon of the week, just before Who Said What, and right after Sidebar. So this is right, but first, it's my take tonight. I'm confused. I don't know what I ate for dinner. Let's do my take. So tonight, the Education Ministry finds itself in a fix. A while ago, the Education Cabinet Secretary, that's Professor George Magoha, told a parliamentary committee that although nearly all pupils who sat for the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education last year have all been enrolled into secondary schools. Now, there is no money to expand existing facilities or to plug teachers' shortage. While it is commendable that 99% of last year's KCPE candidates are all in Form 1, it's a cruel irony that the ministry is unable to guarantee quality learning or decent and adequate facilities due to lack of cash. Now, Professor Magoha told MPs that the ministry requires at least 3 billion shillings to undertake massive expansion of the classes, dormitories, laboratories, libraries, and toilets in these schools countrywide. Yet, it was allocated only 1.5 billion shillings, and out of which just a paltry 200 million shillings has been disbursed to them. Coupled with the teachers' shortage, which currently stands at 58,291, secondary schools are in crisis. Now, teachers are overworked and demoralized, while students, especially those in boarding schools, are living in deplorable conditions where they have to queue for toilets, learn in crammed classrooms, or go without individualized teachers' attention and compete for a chance to participate in sports. Now, matters are worse in the northern part of the country, where hundreds of teachers have relocated due to insecurity and the learners left to their own device. For a region that is historically marginalized and disadvantaged, and where performance is perennially low, denying them teachers for whatever reason is a double tragedy for these students. If the learners cannot find any fun in learning, there's real danger many will drop out of school and find other things to occupy themselves, which may include crime and other antisocial behaviors. Now, if the teachers feel overworked and unsupported by the government, they are likely to leave the profession for other lucrative activities that offer them better pay and better working conditions. Now, those who choose to remain will simply go through the motions without an iota of dedication. Such a scenario is too distressing, to say the least, to imagine, and this is why the government must put out all the stops to ensure it does not happen. Now, the government has to find resources, equip secondary schools, and make them work. And so tonight, we borrow our quote of the week from Maya Angelou. You know her, an American poet, singer, and memoirist. He said, and of course, she was a civil rights activist also. She said this: any book that helps a child to form a habit of reading, to make reading one of his deep and continuing need, is good for the child. My guest tonight is Aden Duale, at Ken Mijungu on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Welcome to our program tonight. Join the conversation online as always. The hashtag is Sidebar. We are also streaming live for you on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Sidebar begins right now.
What we did not achieve in the 2010 Constitution, we now must achieve in this BBI process.
BBI ni muungano wa matapeli.
Kama hiyo rege ni hii ya kupiganisha wa Kenya na kulete ukabila, I promise you,
ongeza sauti,
hiyo rege itasimama.
Nilikutana na majority leader, amesema William Ruto hako na shida kubwa sana. Ofisi yake bilioni 40 imepotea kwa ofisi yake, bado natafuta njia ya kusaidia yeye. Anasema akimaliza hiyo shida ndio watakuja kuongea na nyinyi juu ya BBI.
All right, we'll find out shortly from the majority leader. Let's do the trending tops today, and right there on Twitter. Trending right at the top is Nairobi Governor Sonko, followed by Nairobi, obviously, because of the governor. Then we have other hashtags there. But Sonko and Nairobi are trending tops. And just a few minutes ago, also the national government was trending tops. For obvious reasons, the national government has taken over some functions of the county government. Welcome, Majority Leader, to the show tonight.
Thank you, Ken. It's a long time, huh?
I know. The last time you were here probably was towards the beginning of last year.
Yes.
It's good you're here. Let's begin with the most current thing. And this is the issue of Nairobi Governor Mijungu Sonko. Is this the beginning of the end of Mijungu Sonko?
I don't think so. What happened today is provided in law. If you read Article 187 of the Constitution, transfer of functions between two levels of government was anticipated, and it's in the Constitution. And then again, if you read together with Section 24 all the way to Section 29 of the Intergovernmental Relations Act of 2012,
yes,
will tells you, so there's nothing out of the ordinary. I think we have realized Nairobi is a capital city. Nairobi is the headquarters of UN agencies. Nairobi produces about close to a bigger chunk of the economy, I mean the resources that we have, that KRA collects. And I think because the governor is on suspension because of the court case, there's no deputy governor in place. I think it was very, very important that both the leader of the national government, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the governor of Nairobi, Mike Sonko, looked at both the interests of the people of Kenya. And you see the functions that have been taken by the national government are key: transport and infrastructure, health, public works, and more so city planning. You know, there are thousands and thousands of Kenyans who their plans are stuck now at City Hall.
Because of lack of governor or an executive authority.
Lack of, once the head is not there.
Yes.
So I think it was, and that's why the framers of the Constitution put in place Article 187
of the Constitution. Let me take you back to the Article 187 of the Constitution. I think the Constitution does not contemplate individuals, the like of the President, the Attorney General, Mijungu Sonko, and the Devolution Cabinet Secretary to sit in a room and obviously make a decision to transfer functions. I'm thinking as a majority leader, it must be through legislation. I mean, how do we put it in law? Article 187 is clear, but how do we put it in law if it's just done in a room? Because what happens the next time, and this is the first time we've seen it.
I want to tell you without any fear of contradiction, the President of the Republic of Kenya cannot break the law. If you read Article 189 and then you read together with Section 24, even the principles of transfer of powers is found, I think, in Section 26. There is going to be a memorandum which they have signed today that will contain all that. And in fact, because there was no Senate then when this act was being put in place, we expect a message.
2012, right?
Yes.
2012,
so
yes.
we expect that act says in 29, it says that memorandum or that agreement which was signed will be sent as in the form of a message to the Speaker of the National Assembly.
Okay.
So it will become public.
Okay.
So
you're just going to ratify what has been done today, right?
No. In fact, there's an
As
element.
Parliament.
No, there's an element of even public participation. That's why
But it's already been done,
That is
Majority
why
Leader.
I'm telling you. Yes. In this scenario, the element of public participation, Section 29 of the Intergovernmental Act 2012, says the public participation is documented in the regulations of that act. So, and that's why you see today, they have given, the takeover period is 21 days. It can be 14 days, it can be a month.
To wait for this process that is going to be sent.
For all this, even sending the message to the National Assembly.
Okay.
So I can tell you without no fear of and I read it, that Sonko as the head of the county government, the President delegated his duties to the cabinet secretary in charge of devolution.
Yes.
The speaker of the Senate was there.
Present.
The president was there. The attorney general was there. So it was done above board. I think anybody who has doubt before you raise anything, just read
look
at section 24 all the way to 29 of the Intergovernmental Relations Act of 2012, and read together with the Article 187. But Ken, let me tell you, I mean, this happened in the U.S., Washington, D.C., and I think the framework of the Constitution, we made a mistake. And this is one of the things we must now correct it, that the capital city should not have been a county under a county government. You have it even in...
What are you telling us?
No, I'm telling you.
The long-awaited takeover of the county that we have.
I'm giving you. Look at it. You know, Nairobi is not like any other county.
Yes.
Look at now, if you drive to the UN Avenue, for example.
In Gigiri.
In Gigiri.
Yes.
What you see now should not be what the UN Avenue should look like. The UN Avenue should be littered. The UN Avenue should be clean. The UN Avenue should not even have...
and it's another country
you saw even you saw the building that which was facing the U.S. embassy.
The one that was being constructed, yes.
Which was brought down. If you look at it now, if you pass next to that building, it's like you think a foreigner will think, am I in Syria? You have seen the way they have even destroyed it.
They left it, yes.
So I think, and this is not the first time. If you go to Nigeria, the city of Abuja is run by a minister.
So what I'm getting from you, Majority Leader, is what has been muted, a metropolis, all those things. This is likely the first step towards ensuring that Nairobi ceases from the Constitution from being a county.
No. In fact, if you read Article 187 and even read the Act, constitutionally, what Governor Sonko has transferred is only the functions. Constitutionally, it's still under Nairobi County.
Okay.
And that's what we are going to do even in the budget making process. When we are going to deal with the county government revenue allocation bill, we must have another level where the amount allocated to Nairobi government for health, for infrastructure, transport, for planning, must now be returned back
to the national government. And then it has to be managed by the national government. So I'm
sure there's a workout in this budget.
It feels as though...
So I don't think, I saw the hashtag.
Yeah, but
I don't think...
Sonko surrenders.
Sonko has not surrendered.
Okay.
What Governor Sonko did today is provided in law.
Does this offer him protection now that he's being prosecuted? Is there a quid pro quo in this?
No.
Not at all.
I mean, not at
Those
all.
Are processes.
The judiciary is independent. The prosecutorial powers under the DPP are independent of the national government.
So this is purely for service delivery, Majority Leader?
Yes, and Nairobians have been crying.
I know.
And the president, as the CEO of the country, as in charge of all the 47 counties, he chairs the summit. The president must listen to the cries of the people of Kenya in any county. And that is why, not only Nairobi, today, if the people of Kisumu feel that the county government cannot perform a function.
Because it's a city.
Yes, cannot perform a function. Then they will use the framework of the law to
hand it over to the national.
So, but to make it very clear, constitutionally,
this is allowed.
Constitutionally, Governor Sonko
is still the governor of Nairobi.
No, is still in charge of those functions. What he has only done, he has transferred it, delegated.
Last question on this. Last question for a period. Last question on this. It's suspect because of the timing. Do you think it's suspect because of the timing? Governor Sonko is being prosecuted. Nairobians need service delivery. And this cannot happen because some of his executive roles have been taken away by the reason of the court case. Don't you think it sends a lot of suspicion and fear in the minds of many? And you sitting here and giving an example of Nigeria and Washington, D.C., right? Representation, taxation without representation. Don't you think that sends the idea to many people who are watching that perhaps this is that move?
No, I'm sure this is going to elicit a lot of debate. There are those who will say the gains of devolution is being curtailed. Government wants to take over Nairobi and maybe to other counties. But as citizen of Nairobi, and a leader in this country. I think whether Governor Sonko was in court or not, the provision in law allows any governor or any level of government to use Article 187 of the Constitution in terms of transfer of functions and services.
Okay, good enough. I have a few minutes to the break, but I want to discuss one more thing that came up today before we take the break, because we have a substance of the BBI that we need to discuss. Today, Narok Senator, Ledama Olekina, was arrested yet again among so many people who've been, not yet again, but was arrested among many people who've been arrested because of hate speech. What are your thoughts about the arrest of one of the members of parliament, and you're the majority leader?
No, I think regardless of your status in any arm of government, you must abide by the rule of law and the Constitution. And I think we, the political class, cannot live in a country of impunity. You know, you can put the concerns of your community, the concerns of your voters, the concerns of your wider political constituency within the framework of the law. But I think the DCI, the DPP, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, and any Kenyan, any political orientation, must say no to those who want to profile communities, those who want to use their position to incite and use hate language. I think not only Senator, and he's a very good friend of mine. I mean, you know, you have concerns about, for example, the Maa community, but you can address those concerns within the framework, and that's why you are a leader.
Okay.
Yes.
And
so I think not only him. I think what is going on in across the country, mainly by the political class, I think is something that every Kenyan must condemn, and the state machinery must deal with.
You saw Alex Olemagelo, who was the Speaker of the County Assembly, come out in defense. Just before that, Raila Odinga spoke and sort of agreed with what Ledama said. Then today, he's arrested. My question is, don't you think what he said resonates with a lot of those people behind him?
No, you know, the problem in our country is that when you are involved in corruption, when you are involved in hate speech, when you are involved in any misconduct, you run to your community. And the community sits behind you. And I think is that because Ledama is a member of the ODM party, he's a senator, and I think his party leader, and even my former Speaker of Nairobi County, a man I have a lot of respect for. And I think we should not be emotional about our ethnic, background. We must say it the way it is. I think Honorable Raila Odinga and the party must have said no to the culture of hate speech.
They should have said.
Yes, they should have said. President Uhuru Kenyatta pronounced himself when a number of our members were involved in hate speech. You remember the Pangani 6, both ODM?
Yes.
I remember ODM went to the Pangani police station. But as the leader of majority, in consultation with the party and the party leader, we didn't go to our members. And because
you're not in solidarity.
We were not in solidarity. If you break the law, we as a party, we will not be in solidarity with you.
Okay.
But we won't stop our members to go. I'm sure even when Moses was in Kilimani,
there are a number of people
there were a number of members who went, and there was tear gas. But I think we must change how we do things in our country.
Okay. This is what Alex Magelo said, and of course the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga said.
This is our land. We must stand firm and defend our lands and territories. Wakati ile tulinyang'anywa ile mashamba yote, ile kitu ambaye inakuja sasa, Mheshimiwa Prime Minister, ni umaskini hawa Masai.
We are not saying that people should leave the Masai Ma nation. We are not saying that people will go anywhere. What Ledama talked about was about the land issues and the presentation, which we are saying. And I have said it myself clearly and loudly. Narok County, they are Kikuyus, they are Kisis, they are Luyas, they are Somalis, they are Luos. We don't even have a single member of the county assembly.
Watu wanasema tio Wakenya wanatusiana, wanaweza kubila hakuna. This is how we can build a strong foundation for democracy. Manake wewe sasa ile unazuia yeye mtu aseme ako na hii chuki ndani yake. Wacha kohoe. Tutatafuta dawa yake.
All right, those are the sentiments. I know, even as you respond to that, because I want to remind you, even you one time you were caught on the wrong side of the law due to some pronouncements you made in Isile, which you later explained, but remember about the bombing of Mijungu.
No, you know,
Yes.
mine, you know, you had to look for a translator and anyway, is water under the
what
bridge.
What are you trying to say?
I mean,
if you're not in the community, you wouldn't have.
I mean, as I sit here today,
yes.
I mean, there are serious issues in northern Kenya.
Yes.
The mass exodus of teachers.
Yes.
The insecurity. That will not make me make a hate speech. And you know, the irony is, and this is what disturbs me, Ken, we're talking about building bridges. We're talking about President Kenyatta leaving a legacy of a united, cohesive, prosperous nation where each and every Kenyan, regardless of their tribe and religion and their region, will feel part of Kenya. Now, what you have been seeing the last 2 weeks is not building bridges. What you have been seeing the last 2 weeks is serious ethnic antagonism and profiling.
Okay.
And I think that's why I say,
yes,
particularly the former Prime Minister and the President and the Deputy and the key leaders of this country, I think must call a spade a spade.
Okay.
They must say what is going on is contrary. In fact, if you ask me,
it's contrary to what people expected.
Particularly my party leader.
Yes.
Apart from the many signature projects that he will be remembered for, including the SGR, wanted to leave a united country where politics will never, or elections will never divide our country.
Again.
But from what you are seeing,
it's not. I'd like to discuss.
We are going to Majimbo.
I'd like to discuss that.
We're going
in
to Majimbo, which
I'd like
is
to
dangerous.
discuss that in depth because that's the substance of our discussion. So we take a short break. When we come back, leader, I'd like to touch about the mass exit of teachers, just briefly.
Yes.
Then we can talk about the BBI issue, which is now key here. But first, Sidebar takes a short break. Make sure you join the conversation online. As always, that hashtag is Sidebar. We'll be coming back with more discussion with Majority Leader. Stay with us.
Lipa na M-Pesa, you get more, and now you can win.
Lipa na M-Pesa.
There are surprise gifts to 8 customers every minute. Tractors with extras.
Lipa na M-Pesa.
Plus 6 apartments to be given away. Make payments via M-Pesa buy goods or pay bill. Every 100 shillings spent on Lipa na M-Pesa earns you an entry into the draw. Do more with Lipa na M-Pesa.
Nikitandika mtu vizuri nimuumize, utani blame? Cool downs. Nani ukasirisha hivyo cause you're boring.
Kwa viatu zako zote, hiyo tu ndio unaonaka uvae.
Tulikuwa umeniambia make sure mzee ametoka ndo nikuje.
Mzee alitoka kitambo.
You know, I've been sitting here trying to comprehend what you're saying. Like you're running your mill, it's just raining.
Nani amechukua maji yangu? Kero, nani amechukua maji yangu?
Fanyaga hivi. Baki kwa hao. Upakilizo makucha rangi. Alafu zieke IG. Poa.
Get this beautiful property for only 150,000 Kenya shillings for cash buyers or 175,000 Kenya shillings for installment buyers. Join us for our site visit on 29 February 2020. SMS plot to 21595 for more information.
And Majority Leader at the National Assembly, Aden Duale, is my guest tonight on Sidebar. And Majority Leader, just before we talk about this, because we're talking about intolerance, I'm just reminded of something that happened between you and I in 2011, when we were in Garissa. Somewhere.
Yes, we were at Nomad.
At Nomad.
And that time, you know, I was in URP and TNA.
You had just become from ODM.
Yes.
And URP.
Yes.
Yes.
And we were preparing for the election. We wanted to form a merger with the TNA. And I kept on telling you that next election we are going to win.
As Jubilee.
And we did, as Jubilee.
Very interesting.
At that time as TNA URP.
URP, yes.
Yeah, we won.
The reason why I bring this up, because I want to talk about the BBI and the cohesive country, because you come from the extreme end of this country, and William Ruto from the extreme end, and you joined. So I want to talk about cohesion. But before I talk about that, a pertinent question that Kenyans are asking, what's happening in the northern Kenya in terms of teachers? Does this worry the leaders such as you?
Yes, in fact, what's happening in northern Kenya, particularly in the counties of Garissa, Wajir, and Mandera, there's a serious educational crisis. There are no teachers. We have insecurity from attacks from Al-Shabaab. And you know, the narrative of Al-Shabaab is that when they cross to Kenya, because they want to create ethnic and religious conflict. In Somalia, they killed Somalis and they killed Muslims. But when they cross to our country, they attack our Christian brothers for quite a long time. You remember Garissa University in my constituency. So it's a very, very sad situation in the north. The children in the north are not going to school, particularly in the rural constituencies. There are over 2,580 teachers who have left in the last 1 month.
That's approximately how many schools have been affected?
I think in every county, close to about 200, 300 schools, both primary and secondary. But in total, there are 2,580, 1,650 primary schools and 900 secondary schools. Ironically, the Teacher Service Commission has a duty to make sure, and it's a constitution also, that every child in Kenya must have or must access education and more so quality education. But we have to balance between the security of teachers and the rights of the children to access education. So we are in catch-22. We had a discussion as leaders. We have given proposal. We've met the head of state yesterday, and we have agreed on a roadmap, both in terms of, as leaders, how to work with the security agencies in pacifying the region. Community involvement is key in the war against terror. At the same time, we have given the president a long-term sustainable education solutions.
For that region?
For that region, where we want to make sure that going forward, 99% of the teachers in those 3 counties and in the north will be indigenous people.
99%?
So, yes. So we want to have more college intakes from the north. We want more affirmative actions. For the short term, we want more untrained teachers to fill the gap left by those teachers. We want to recall...
That's a short term?
Yes.
That's a short term.
To recall back teachers who retired. Because, you know, what is now happening to the national government is that both the competency curriculum based, which they're implementing, and the 100% transition program of President Uhuru Kenyatta is not working now in the north.
And yet they have to compete on the same
again,
level.
we have also agreed that there must be a coordination between the Ministry of Education and Teacher Service Commission. Professor Magoha
yes.
and any other Minister of Education is telling you, it's only in Kenya, let me tell you, where the Minister for Education is not in charge of teachers. I mean, it's sad, and I think I was part of the 10th Parliament that created all these commissions. But the Teacher Service Commission must listen to the Minister for Education going forward.
What worries a lot of people is what you're precisely saying tonight.
Yes.
As Kenyan, you are free to work anywhere.
Yes.
When you're calling for 99% of indigenous teachers, where does that leave most Kenyan teachers who perhaps want to explore and work elsewhere?
No, if you go to my constituency, 60% of the other Kenyans are still teaching. But the teacher crisis, the education crisis is there as a result of the insecurity. So we need first to fix these security issues in the north. Once we fix that, then and Garissa or Wajir or Mandera becomes like any other county.
Then we can deploy anywhere.
Then anybody can work. I mean, the health workers are there. But right now, we also don't want to risk the lives of
But what you're telling me is that only Christians are affected by this. It means insecurity will end once these people are not in that country.
No.
That's what I'm hearing.
No. They're killing our security forces. They're killing locals. They're killing non-locals, teachers or health workers. Okay? So we must strike a balance to make sure that, particularly in the far-flung constituencies near the border, that we must save the life of those teachers who are indiscriminately targeted by the terrorists. At the same time, we must find a lasting solution. We cannot be having every time a crisis that the non-local teachers, because of insecurity, will leave the region. So we must
leave the students
we must think of a long-term sustainable solution.
Which to me would be security in that region.
Of course, I'm sure our intelligence, our police, our KDF are working.
Have you had this issue about Nyuelengumu in that region?
Those are the people who want to stereotype and create prejudices among our people. Even Teacher Service Commission is wrong to describe the teachers of Kenya into locals and non-locals. This is the same thing that is taking political leaders to make hate speech. There's no difference between me and you. We are Kenyans. So those who play to those, kind of names are people who want to divide Kenyans along ethnic,
You don't
religious.
think there is any truth?
No. Those are people who want to carry a narrative that is contrary to the Kenya that we want to build and the Kenya that President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Jubilee government wants to build. I don't subscribe to such narratives.
Okay.
I mean, half of my staff in my constituency, or in my office in Parliament, my drivers, all of them are non-locals. I went to school. I went to Moi Force Academy. I went to a Kenyan university. So that those people who want to still create a narrative that there's a Somali and there's Nyelengumu and all this. And this is why even in the census we have a problem. When Kenya Bureau of Statistics describes us as Kenyan Somalis, it's something.
That's where it starts.
Yes, that is profiling a community. Why can't you say Somalis? Somalis occupy 3 counties. Somalis are Kenyans. So where is this story of Kenyan Somalis coming from?
Okay.
And I think we are going to challenge that.
Okay.
We will call the Director General of Kenya Bureau of Statistics.
Yeah, to change
he
that.
must give a good reason why he is describing the leader of majority as a Kenyan Somali.
Okay.
I am a Kenyan.
Okay, interesting.
And he's not describing the Luos as Kenyan Luos because they also live in Tanzania.
Yes.
He's not describing the Maasais as Kenyan Maasais. He's not describing the Luyas across the border in Busia as Kenyan Luyas. Why is he only picking of the Somalis.
Okay, okay. So lastly on this question, so do you believe, because these are sound bites from the locals who talk about, these people in Nyulingumu, they're taking our opportunities. You don't believe this, and truthfully, you don't believe this is playing a part in this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
You had the case of the teacher who wanted to save the other teachers in Mandera, the guy who was also killed. Last week, 3 teachers, three non-locals and 1 local were killed in a bus between Mandera and Wajir. So this happens everywhere.
Okay.
But it's a very sad situation, and I think government is doing all it can, and we had a very good discussion, and we have a way forward. I hope the other players in government will do their part. Okay. With the leadership.
This is multi-sectoral.
Yes, we the leaders have committed that we'll do our part, but government has a responsibility of providing security.
When you say government, who do you mean?
I mean the government, our government.
Yes.
The Jubilee government.
And you know you're very highly ranked in the government.
Of course.
Yes.
But you know, I am in charge of one branch of government.
The second.
I mean, there's the security sector. Men and women were in charge. There is men and women who are in charge of the education sector. I hope they will do their bit and make sure that the lives and the property of every Kenyan, regardless of whether they're in the north, they're in the west, they're in the east, are protected. That every child in Kenya, whether he's in Garissa or Wajir or Mandera, is treated and given access to quality education.
Okay, let's switch gears and now talk about the BBI. And you have been saying the last few weeks, Majority Leader, are sitting on the fence. In fact, there's a time you disappeared completely.
I was in the US.
For how many weeks? Well, there's a time.
I was in the US for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, yes.
But I'll tell you, I don't sit on the fence.
When it comes to the BBI,
no.
What's your position on the BBI?
No, I mean, I presented my views
today
as the leader.
Today.
As the leader and the patron of the largest parliamentary caucus in parliament with 110 members. And why did I present our memorandum today to Haji-led committee? Legally, that is the only group of people recognized by law. And the latest, I think, section of the law I can quote is Gazette Notice 264 of 3rd of January, signed by the president. So any other group of people or any other formation is illegal, in my opinion.
So,
I mean, whether you present your recommendation in a political rally, I asked the senator and the chairman and the members, where do I take? And he said, this is the right group.
But do you know the technical committee of the task force is present during these rallies?
Let me ask you a question, a very, very ordinary question. And I've been around for some time in politics. I think I'm doing my 3rd term. What kind of views will you collect in a rally of 10,000 people? Just tell me. Is that a serious public participation? Is it the political class which is deciding, writing the recommendation? But if you come to the BBI, the first BBI, 99%, 90% for example, was agreed across board. Now what they're doing is what is called validation forum. For example, they said in their first report, 1 man, 1 vote. They gave more emphasis to population. And today we said, you guys, no, you must find how to harmonize between 1 kilometer, 1 vote, and 1 man, 1 vote. Kenya is defined both by the map, the land size, and the population. Use what we did in 2010 when we were doing the new constitution, and Article 89 was introduced on delimitation of electoral units. So if you ask me, these rallies, and let me be very candid, I mean, that's why I didn't go for the rally in my constituency. These rallies are political rallies of one political party.
But that's what many people on the other side have been saying, that these are ODM political rallies.
Absolutely.
Because they're spearheaded by ODM.
No. You go to the ground. You see the guys who build the tent, the guys who decorate, the guys who do the protocol.
Who are they?
They're from ODM.
But you never attend the rallies. How do you know they are from ODM?
You know,
You've never attended any.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
I mean, I'm the leader of majority. I speak to over 349 members of parliament.
So ODM members of parliament would come and tell you everyone who was on the ground was ODM?
No, but even look at even the MCs. Look at the way, for example, Charity Ngilu was handling Moses Kuria.
But Charity Ngilu is not a member of ODM.
No. But you don't need to be a member of ODM.
You
need to look
you
at.
You just said these are ODM rallies.
But let me tell you.
Yes.
You can tell the political orientation, the political physique of any political animal in Kenya, whether he's an MCA or a senator or a governor.
But just looking at them.
Yes, particularly going forward to us 2022. So by me attending, for example, let me give an example, and I said it. By me attending a rally, like I'll give you an example. If you watched, it was live on TV. If you watch the rally in Narok, the people were caused to say, you say BBI, the reply was to be automatically Baba. Yeah, when Rasanga was speaking, you know what he said? All these huge mammoth crowd, these are supporters of Baba, but their votes were stolen by Jubilee in 2017. I mean, so I think I have a number of reasons. One, I was around. I was a member of parliament during the 2007 post-election violence. I was in ODM. I know what our people went through. I knew what happened in 2017. And I think why the president decided to leave a legacy of a united Kenya, where Somali will have a place on the table of decision-making, a Kuria will have a place, a Luo will have a place, a Kalenjin, the small and the big tribes will have a chair on the table of decision making. We must bring Kenya together. And that's why President Uhuru Kenyatta folded with his deputy 14 political parties. I mean, I was one person who was saying, am I sure? Why should I fold the URP?
Yes.
But the message then was, you guys, we are dividing our country because political parties were ethnic based. Even though URP had many MPs, including myself, but the perception was that it was more of a William Ruto and Rift Valley.
Okay.
TNA was more of Central Kenya. ODM was more of. So I think going forward, and I gave that message today, I think the president and the former prime minister and the other leaders must sit and let's allow the process of the validation to be completed. And what
if the president would attend one of those political rallies today? What if he attended one? What would you say?
In fact, one of the conditions I gave, I mean, he's my party leader. I mean, I'll only attend...
when the president attends?
Yes.
There's this shift post the second after Kisii happened, and I think Kakamega happened, right? And the next one was Mombasa. There's a number of leaders, including majority leader in the Senate, who sat here, and they said they will go for the rally in Mombasa. And increasingly, we have seen members of the Jubilee Party also going for this.
But you have seen what happened?
Yes, I have seen, but
I was more intelligent.
It's still going.
I was more intelligent than the leader of the Senate and Moses Kuria. And I told them.
But they're not the only ones who are going for these rallies.
No. Ken, if you ask me, my office is a creation of the Constitution, Article 108. And any meeting of government I go to, there should be a chair. There should be
a seat for you.
A seat for me. There should be order. Now I go to a rally, I have no seat, I will not be given time to speak. You look at what is going on. And
is that the contention?
On the face of it, if you look at the body language, the utterances of leaders from Kisii to Kakamega to Mombasa to Kitui to Garissa to Narok, let us be very honest. Their action and their utterances. Let us analyze. Is that uniting Kenya or is it dividing Kenya? I might be wrong, but my position is that Kenya, and I've told the committee today, and they've agreed with me, a number of them, is that there's more division in the rallies. The political class have hijacked a noble idea.
But who are divided? Is it the leaders or the people on the ground? Who are divided?
No.
Who are divided?
The people who are orchestrating and dividing the people of Kenya is the leadership, is the political leadership.
So the leadership is divided, not the people?
In fact, the leadership is using the ethnic card for their political expediency.
But that only happened in Narok. We haven't seen it anywhere else.
No. You saw it in Mombasa, Ken. I mean, the meeting was cut short.
But it was unanimous.
In Kitui,
yes.
You saw, whether you disagree.
But you see, majority leader,
you saw
only the leaders are divided. It's not the people. It's only the leaders who are divided. And they want to polarize the country because they are divided. It's not the people who are divided. When people attend those political rallies, they attend as individuals. But it's the leadership misbehaving.
But let me tell you, Ken, if today I want to cause ethnic animosity as a leader, I have a platform. Leaders are the infrastructure to unity of the people. So if the leaders are divided and they want to use that division for their own political gain, every leader has a constituency, big or small. So people come to the rallies to listen to their leaders.
Yes.
So, and they go out, they leave the rallies with a message from their leaders.
Okay.
So leaders play a very big role. And you read, countries that went to genocide, like Rwanda, countries like South Sudan.
It's about the leaders.
South Sudan.
Let me give you
the complex. Let me tell you the complex between of the configuration of the new government in Sudan between Salva Kiir and Riek Machar is because of their communities. Each community wants to control state power. So there's no way you can delink between the leaders and their followers who are the people. So
ironically,
and that is why.
Yes.
And that is why when President Uhuru Kenyatta took the oath of office, he realized that he cannot leave a divided nation.
Which is true.
And he went
I want to also give you an example.
And he went to his biggest challenger, Honorable Raila Odinga. But today, what is happening in Kenya? And let's be very honest.
Contrary to what you expect.
The objective of creating a united, cohesive nation.
Which the president can today decide and say there will be no more rallies and there will be no more rallies.
If Senator Ledama says, going forward, I am warning that nobody can seek an elective seat
if it's not
from the Maa community.
And yet we have several people, including my own MP, Junet Mohammed, who's
absolutely
elected. Yes.
And Junet Mohammed cheers Senator Ledama. Little does he know that he's a Somali.
Okay.
And he's
elected in Suna East.
In Suna East.
Yes.
Look at the member for Keses.
Yes.
He is not even Kenyan by birth.
Yes.
Look at the member for, I think, Imenti North, Honorable Daudi, Brahman Daudi. Look at, I think, there are a number of cases.
We have quite
even
a number
Shakil
of examples.
Shabir,
yes.
who is even on an independent ticket.
Mm-hmm.
So I think going forward, 50 plus years of independence, I think the generations we have today is a generation that wants a united Kenya.
I have to take a break, but just one more question on this. When Moses Kuria went to Mombasa, and he was
not given a chance to speak.
Not given a chance. There was an incident preceding that. But the people demanded Moses Kuria speaks.
Yeah.
So the people are not divided. It's the leaders who prevented Moses Kuria from speaking. So I want to clear that. The people are not divided.
So very good. That leader who, when he's in Nairobi, shook hands with the president and says we must unite the people of Kenya. And in a function he presided over in Mombasa, denied, and in Kitui, denied Moses Kuria and other leaders not to speak, then that leader is not sincere about the unity of the people of Kenya.
We have seen some other leaders speak though, right?
No. Let's speak, you talked about Moses
Kuria, yes. The people, in relation to what the people demand.
But let me ask you.
And the leaders' division.
So who's the leader? There are two leaders who brought this whole story of the unity of Kenya.
Yes.
President Uhuru Kenyatta
and Raila
Odinga. And I am sure, I have worked with Raila Odinga. I have worked with President Uhuru Kenyatta when he was the chairman of KANU, when he was a minister for finance, Deputy Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition. I know him very well. I know William Ruto. I don't think...
And you know Raila Odinga because you worked with him too.
No, yes. I mean, I tell people, you know, the first person who inducted me in politics, maybe my primary school was Raila Odinga. And then maybe I went to Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto's secondary and college. But that is off the cuff. I'm saying if leaders can be humiliated, they can be denied chance in a forum that is to bring the people of Kenya together, and a key leader is sitting there.
Yes.
Then
without condemning it.
Without condemning it. Then that leader is not sincere. I mean, and we are used to the politics of the city.
We are coming back to discuss this more because I want to take you back to Garissa and ask a few questions why you never attended that political rally, and obviously that coming after the short break. So stay with Sidebar, and of course your comments are scrolling at the bottom of the screen, and we'll continue to put them for you right there. Stay with us.
It's delicious.
The blind man told police officers, afade mimi sijawahi ona bangi maisha yangu yote.
Hizo ma award zikafanya watu waanze kuimbia award badala waimbe the word.
Mimi mkinichagua mtaona miujiza.
Anajifanya siku hizi.
Kimbia mara moja.
Naogopa Mwenyezi Mungu na uji moto peke yake.
Hiyo si bangi.
On the 29th of February 2020, Seeds of Gold invites you for a farm clinic at the TAC Center behind Zion Mall in Eldoret. The theme is Climate Smart Agriculture, Fostering Resilience for Food Security. Please join us for an in-depth discussion on wheat, maize, poultry, horticultural and dairy farming and mechanization of farming process. For more information, please contact us on the details on your screen.
Sioni sababu ya damu ya Mkenya awe ametoka wapi iwe itamwagika kwa sababu ya mashindano ya kisiasa. Tunaweza kushindana kisiasa, lakini tushindane kwa maono, sio kwa sababu ya kabila. Huwezi kukula kabila lako.
The ethnicity that is being preached in BBI rallies and the ethnic profiling of communities and the hate and the campaign one community against another.
If there is something that has dented the image of BBI, it's a conversation that divides the country between kabila hii na kabila hile.
All right, welcome back. Majority Leader, I need to ask you this. Is that time you felt threatened in your position as a Majority Leader?
No.
There's a time it was muted that Kipchumba Murkomen was going to be exited unceremoniously, and probably you also targeted.
No, my friend, number one, I am not a guest of anyone in Jubilee. And
You're there by right?
I'm there by right. And me and many of my colleagues from the North, we have delivered to Jubilee. In fact, out of the 18 constituencies in northern Kenya, the opposition has only 2 constituencies. So, you know, the people who you are talking about are people who are first time in politics, and I want to tell them that...
the people who are talking about removing you from your position.
These are small people. So I allow them that divergent space. But I'm not a guest of anybody.
So you never felt threatened at all?
I am never, my friend. I sleep like a 5-year-old baby.
What if it will be muted, Majority Leader?
That will not be the end of my life, my friend. I served in government. I served in the opposition.
As a minister? Yes.
As a minister,
yes.
I quitted. I mean, I was sacked by Honorable Raila Odinga.
Yes.
That didn't end my life. I became a backbencher. I joined William Ruto in forming URP. I told you in 2012 we are going to form government. We did. I worked with the president. I became a leader of majority. My performance track in parliament is above board. I have delivered for Jubilee in the house, and I'm not a guest of anyone.
So you don't, if it was to happen, you're okay with it?
My friend, let me tell you, I am not the type of, I am serving my 3rd term. Maybe my other colleagues might freak. I don't freak very easily. And particularly when the people who are making noise. In my community we say, when the cows go to the water, the frogs don't deter them.
From drinking water?
From drinking water. So okay. I don't lose focus. I am focused on my delivery as the leader of majority. By the way, I'm the first occupant of that office under the new constitution. Today, if I leave, when I was starting it, I started from scratch. Today, I can say without fear of contradiction that Kenyans will remember Aden Duale as a leader of majority. I have delivered, I have performed, and I'm sure my scorecard, both members of parliament across the aisle. And that's why sometimes I don't want to get into the muddy politics of Kenya. Because in the House, I have a lot of respect from the opposition, from Jubilee.
Okay.
So to make sure that the government agenda sails through. But headlines are there. We want to remove Duale. If you are not discussed as a politician, then you are dead.
Okay, which is very important to me because I want to go back. Politicians love the crowd. If you're not discussed as a politician, and if you don't have the platform as a politician, obviously.
But the crowd must be a crowd where you're delivering development.
Was one of
not rhetoric.
One of the reasons that perhaps you did not go to Garissa is this simmering fight between you and Governor Ali Korane. Is that one of the reasons?
I supported Ali Korane.
But things changed.
No,
things changed.
He's a member of my party. So what do we compete about?
But now he's in charge of the BBI initiative.
That's a very small position, my friend.
But you are the senior most. Are you not the senior most politician from that region?
Let me tell you, I don't just go for roles for the sake of it. I go for roles to lead, where first I must know what is the interest of the people of Kenya. I don't take positions. So that's a very small position.
But you're the senior most politician from that region.
Let me tell you.
True or false?
Let me tell
you. You're the senior most politician.
Not in the north.
Yes.
I am one of the senior most politicians in the Jubilee party.
So from the north, you are definitely the senior most.
So why do you want to reduce me back to a county affair or to a region affair? I am the leader of majority of the National Assembly. So
if you attended that rally, you're the senior most in the country, in the Jubilee government, from that region.
I told you, I didn't attend that rally for...
Yes, but if the president attends, and you attend as a condition, who will speak last between you and Ali Korane?
Let me tell you for free, it is not the matter of who speaks last or first.
But that's how politicians play.
It is the content and the message.
That's how politicians play.
And that's why you guys, media, you don't pick who's in your bites.
Yes.
You don't pick who spoke last or who spoke
We pick the substance.
You pick the bite that makes sense to the people of Kenya.
But when you stand there and the crowd is listening to you.
And let me tell you, I don't play in small games, So
you would want to speak last.
Honorable Ali Korane. It's not the first function we attended. The deputy president was there, the president was there in my county launching the solar project. So those are sibling rivalry. They don't matter to me.
Okay.
And he's a governor. He's supposed to deliver on the mandate as the governor of Garissa. I am to deliver on two fronts. One as the leader of majority of the Jubilee Party in Parliament, and as a member of Parliament for Garissa Township. So, when you read my history, since 2007. I don't just, play into any reggae. That's why, when I hear the reggae can't stop, I look for the tune, I look at the interests of my people, I see the rhythm, I see where it's going, and then I make a decision.
Okay.
So and that's why you see the difference between me and some politicians, maybe including Ali Korani, that how he does his things is different from how I do my things.
Okay.
Not only he, maybe many politicians in the north.
And
I was alone, by the way. I was one of the very few people in the north who say that I think, yes, BBI is good. I support it 100%. We made as a region.
BBI 1.
No, BBI 1 I support. What is going on now?
That's what you don't support.
No, what is going on now is just a validation. So it's the same document that if you had an issue with, or there was an error, that the committee of Honorable, my senator, is validating.
Okay.
So, and in politics, you must take the interests of your voters, of your people, to the decision table. So BBI is very critical.
So if you don't go to that table, because that's my next point, you must take that decision to the table. What if that is the area where this is being discussed and you miss out? You miss out your people.
No. I mean, I told you legally, the only table.
That's legally. There's political
my
also.
Friend, let me tell
but this country is not about legalese. It's not about politics.
It is.
It's about politics also.
That's why we're saying Honorable Sonko applied the law and President Uhuru Kenyatta in the transfer of functions. And that's why the president, through a Gazette notice, created a BBI validation committee and technical team.
Okay,
Tell me where the BBI rallies are anchored in law. Just tell me.
Well, I'll ask you, tell me where the BBI process is anchored in the law.
It's through a subsidiary legislation. It is through a Gazette notice.
Gazette notice has never given has never given anything a legal meaning. Gazette notice.
The last time we met, I knew you did law. You did law. There might be a difference, but
yes, there's a difference. Gazetting cannot confer a legal status of anything.
No. That Gazette notice is even what will make the BBI use public resources, taxpayers' money. And that's why the Gazette notice will advise the Auditor General not to raise queries. So do not, and it has a signature of the President.
Very true, but Gazette notice has never conferred a legal status to anything.
I've asked you, tell me where the so-called, quote-unquote, ODM rallies and ODM rallies are anchored in law. And you know what, by the way? Let me tell you, I have a choice.
Yes.
It's about civic education. And if you look at the document we presented, I'm so happy that the BBI Validation Forum, led by Sata Haji, and Attorney General Emeritus Amos Wako, said this is a well thought out document for 15 counties, for over 110 members of parliament on 7 thematic issues. And we from representation to governance to security to education to shared prosperity to inclusivity to the war on corruption. So that is the right forum
to present your views.
Anything else is politics. And each one of us has a political interest now
and yours doesn't tie in with that.
Yes. And each one of us has a candidate in the 2022
election. Yes.
So by me going to a forum or a rally of another competing candidate, the worst I can do is to send a wrong signal to my supporters across the country.
But you just agreed if the president was to attend this, you would attend.
Yes.
So what will change at that point? What will change at that point?
Because at least the position of our party at the highest level by the president
is represented at that time. Okay. Do you listen to the president as the majority leader? Were you at Bomas of Kenya when the report was launched?
Yes.
The president said at the beginning of the year this document will be taken back to you. And he even gazetted, you just mentioned the date, early January, I think it was 23rd, when he gave the BBI team a new mandate, right?
So 3rd of January.
Yes. I mean, is the president, these are consistent actions by the president. And then the steering committee, because right now it's a steering committee and not a task
force. The president did not gazette BBI rallies.
No, he didn't.
The president gazetted the new BBI validation task force and the technical team.
Yes, which is a steering committee right now, because that's what they're doing.
Ken, you're a lawyer. You know, if you ask me, ultimately, within the reading of Article 256 and 257, as a member of Parliament for Garissa Township, I will have a say in this document when it comes to Parliament. Am I right?
Yes.
Ultimately, the people I represent in Garissa Township or in the north or in the pastoralist, we will have a say within the reading of Article 257 if it goes to a referendum, a popular initiative. So why the hurry? I've presented my documents. I'm just waiting for the BBI Validation Forum to tell us we have harmonized the views of the Republic of Kenya, and I am waiting for that day, because each and every region is coming with...
That was my next question.
Yes.
How is this going to happen? Because we went to Narok. They have their own issues.
Yes.
We went to Kisii, their own issues. We went Kisii, Migori, Kisumu, all these places. Each place has their own issues. How are we going to incorporate all these? Let me say all the counties, 47.
Ask that the BBI task force.
No, as a legislator, you tell me. How do you do it?
It will be very, very difficult. And even going further, how to harmonize. You know, if you look at what was presented in Narok, what the pastoralists presented today, what was presented in Mombasa and Kakamega, alone, to frame those into 5 or 6 general issues or specific issues that can be in a draft bill, either for a parliamentary initiative or for a popular initiative, will be a difficult and a tall order. But why do I have other issues to raise? There are serious gaps and lacuna in law. You know, the people who say, oh, we had a referendum in 2010. In 2010, we had the Kenya Constitutional Amendment Act that created the Parliamentary Select Committee of Honorable Abdikadir, that created the Committee of Experts, that had timelines, both for Parliament and for the committee and for the experts. Now, as we sit here, we don't have a referendum law.
Yes.
We have to, there's a new now set of procedures that we must subject these questions to 47 county assemblies. And let's say we have got 5 questions. And out of the 5 questions, there is no specific law that says, can the county assembly of Garissa agree with the 2 of the questions
and leave 3
and reject 3?
Yes. And
what about Kiambu County takes 3
yes,
and reject 2?
Yes.
So how do you, even, you know, a simple question like, how does IEBC verify 1 million signatures? What is the criteria? Do they look at the signatures? Do they have the addresses? When the bill is sent to county assemblies, for example.
Yes.
And a good example was when our friend Okurokot, yes. What is the threshold in the county assembly? Is it simple majority? Is it a 2/3 majority? How long can they stay with? I can tell you.
There's no framework, absolutely.
Let me tell you, I want Kenyans to hear.
Yes.
The county assembly of Vihiga sent their message on the Okuru Okot bill last week to the Speaker of the National Assembly. Last week.
What do you mean?
I can provide that.
Long after the
last
bill
week
died.
When we opened Vihiga County Assembly, and the Speaker has to make a communication either tomorrow or the day after. So, you know, there's a lot of issues. And these are the issues. How long does the President keeps the bill?
Yes.
Before it
Not defined in law.
Not defined in law. When the bill comes to the National Assembly, to the Speaker of the National Assembly, who is to introduce to the floor of the House? It doesn't say, is the leader of majority? Is the leader of minority? Is it a committee of... So, is there...
And even who formulates this bill? It's not even clear.
Yes.
We are assuming the AG will do it.
So, that's why I'm telling you, people are talking about a referendum.
Yes. And as early as June,
and let me tell you,
we have 4 months.
A constitutional amendment bill, minimum, will take 5 months in either of the houses. So we're talking about 10 months for both houses.
But in this country,
Because
we're used to people, when they want to achieve something, they'll just run through Parliament.
But the Constitution, the framers of the Constitution provided Article 256, 255, 256, 257 to be very rigid. They didn't allow any Tom and Dick and Harry to amend the Constitution. So for you to look at, for the House to deal with a constitutional bill, Ken?
Yes. 5 months.
No.
That's
before it is introduced for second reading, it must mature 3 months, 90 days.
That's what the law
and
stipulates.
90 days must go through public participation. So we're talking about 10 months in Parliament alone.
And we're saying by June we need a referendum.
You know, that's why I'm telling you, somebody somewhere is being cheated. You know why I'm saying it? The budget policy statement before the House has no resources allocated for referendum.
In this country,
in the budget of 2019-2020.
Majority Leader, you know this country. If the president wants to get something through Parliament and through you as the Majority Leader, the president will get his way. Don't lie to us. Don't lie to us. He will.
But the president cannot get his way in where it is amending the Constitution. And that's why I told you, the framers of the Constitution made sure the threshold for amending the Constitution is very high and very rigid. That's why I tell you minimum. The 90 days is mandatory.
Okay.
So,
but you understand.
So I'm saying 90 days, that is 3 months. Let's say second reading, getting the threshold, give it 4 months. So, and then both houses, 8 months.
The first person to talk about a referendum by June was James Orengo, senior counsel, member of the Senate.
In a rally.
He said it though.
But in a rally.
Yes, but he said
If you meet James Orengo in his office.
And ask the same question.
And ask the same question. Or in a committee in Parliament. I am sure James Orengo will give you a different. You know, that time James Orengo is excited by the crowd. He's sitting next to his party leader. He wants to put pressure that there must be a referendum. And let me ask you.
Then the party leader says the same thing.
Let me ask you. People must be very honest like the leader of the Third Way Alliance. If you want a referendum, forget about these BBI shenanigans. Go collect 1 million signature, give us a referendum draft bill, take it to the 47 counties.
Get 24
why are you riding on BBI? BBI is a different vehicle. Today, me and you, if you want to amend the Constitution, forget about the parties. All that we require is a draft bill and 1 million signatures. So James Orengo, my free advice to James Orengo, and those who believe in a referendum. I mean, I also believe in a referendum. But in a referendum where, you know, it's partisan, it's non-partisan. That is the only referendum. A non-divisive referendum is that can work in Kenya.
But is it possible? Look at 2005, look at 2010 referendum. It's the same thing. I mean,
you know what happened?
It's divisive.
You know what happened? 2005 referendum, I was in ODM. And it was our springboard to the 2007 general election.
Take us to the next. It was a springboard also.
So, but 2007, the only person who was on one side, and I think he also wanted to see his constituency.
7 or 10, 2010.
And yes, was the deputy president.
Yes.
I think even him, he, as much he has some valid reasons why he opposed the change of the constitution.
At that time.
He, on the flip side, he wanted to see the size of his constituency.
Okay.
Because in the no, I think he got about 2.5 million no voters.
Okay.
So that, and also helped him create a network.
All right.
So referendums are always used for
catalyst,
for a vehicle, a catalyst.
to
and
see
that
what's
is why,
happening. Yes.
and that's why, as much as we are, we want to unite the country and we agree with BBI, when the element of the rallies were introduced, those of us who are very serious stakeholders in 2022 political game plan, we will not just join the crowd.
Okay.
We will look at it and we will see, do we have a space? Do we have a seat? Is it in our interest? If it's not in our interest, we will not go to the rally.
Okay. You're forgetting one thing, Majority Leader, that when we want to amend and introduce these new changes, we don't really need to go to the referendum, because even as we discuss how all these interests from this regions will be harmonized and put into probably a 5-point agenda that is acceptable to everyone. We are forgetting that we need legislation. We can get some things done through just legislation in Parliament. We are forgetting that some can just be policy, and then we have referendum.
Yes, but the major things, when you look at Kenyans, and particularly the political class, if you want to, for example,
change
the governance structure,
yes,
you must go back to the people.
To the people, yes. But that's just one.
If you want to touch devolution,
yes,
you must go back to
which
the people.
we are not talking about except the positive one of
if
funds.
you want to touch the Bill of Rights,
yes,
a number of the issues that today we have raised, they touch on the Bill of Rights. I mean, marginalization.
But look at what people speak about when they go to the podiums. It's about creating positions. We forget all
in
these
fact,
things.
It's about creating position.
Yes, that's the only thing. So it means it's one agenda against many.
Can I agree with you? In fact, what the rallies are doing is that we are also missing. And I think this, I don't blame the opposition. I blame government, the government party. You know, we have a social contract with the people of Kenya. We have a manifesto to provide. Kenyans want better service in health, in water, in infrastructure, in social security, in making sure that our economy does very well, in making sure that pending bills are paid. So all those are losing their space in the national discourse. And all that we're hearing is BBI, reggae will not stop, this bus has no brakes. Let me ask you, who will enter a bus which has no brakes? If I just look at that. So I think we will, it will shape up, don't worry.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to ask this last question. Looking at Parliament, you have been the majority leader, pioneer majority leader of the National Assembly. Looking at Parliament the last 5 years, before the election in 2017, looking at Parliament the last 2 years after 2017, and looking at this session of Parliament, right? Do you see a difference in the way things are going to be handled in Parliament?
No, if you ask me, during my first 10 years as leader of majority, I mean, I had a difficult time. I mean, the opposition was very vibrant. They had good numbers. But on the flip side, in this stall of Parliament, I'll tell you, I'm a serious beneficiary of the handshake.
Things are easy in Parliament.
Yes.
Yes, because
now I consult with my colleague.
John Badi, you speak the same language?
No, we consult. Sometimes even I give him time to consult his party leader. I go consult my party leader. We look at the interests of the nation. And for your information, all these politicians who have issues over the weekend, whether you call them Keleweke, Tanga, ODM, when they come to the chamber and to the house, they become members of their respective parties, and we deal with the issues.
You don't think Parliament has been weakened by the fact that the opposition has been entrenched into government, and now we don't know what side they're sitting?
Yes, there's a school of thought that.
But what is the truth?
But I don't think so, because there are a number of bills where we develop consensus. It's give and take. I agree with the leader of minority, Honorable John Bandi and Honorable Junet. And I think at the end of the day, even all of us together, as under presidential system of parliamentary system, we should not think about our parties. We should think about the interests of the country.
Okay.
Yes.
So you don't see any weakening of Parliament and how you've been working?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee is from the opposition. The chairman of Public Investment is from the opposition. Read their reports.
Major committees in Parliament.
Yes, special accounts, implementation committee that are run by the opposition. And read their reports. I mean, they indict government where they feel there's enough evidence.
Okay. All right, Majority Leader, I'd like you to take a look at our cartoon of the week and give us your comment. It will be on screens around. Let's take a look at the cartoon of the week. I think this is the nearest. That's a census calculator. What you see versus what politicians say. I don't know if you can see it clearly, Majority Leader. There will be some close here. All right, that's our cartoon of the week. Your interpretation, what we see and what politicians see from the census report. I know you spoke about Kenya and Somali. That's just one, but what do you see as a politician?
No, I think, let me be very, very honest. As the politicians, we see 2022.
It's on point.
Yeah, it's on point. I mean, apart from President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is serving his last term, the rest of us, either we want to win our seats back, whether it is a member of parliament, a senator, a governor. Some of us, we want to form government in 2022. So we have candidates, we have presidential candidates. We want to form coalitions of regions and parties going forward. So don't be cheated. 2022 is central to every politician. And that's why you see we have a problem with the so-called BBI ODM rallies.
Okay, because you are looking at it in terms of...
Oh, yes. I mean, I'm a political animal. I mean, you know, you join politics, you form a political party to form government. Nobody wants to be in the opposition. Yes. I mean, I don't think when there's anybody who goes to election
wanting to be in the opposition.
To be in the opposition benches. If you happen to be in the opposition, you still have a role to play.
Okay.
But everybody joins politics to be in government.
They want to be in government. All right. This is Who Said What for this week. Then I'll give you an opportunity to give us your last comment. Here is it.
BBI kama iongei mambo ya hospitali yako, hiyo ni upuzi. BBI kama iongei kuhusu barabara, hiyo ni ujinga. BBI kama iongei kuhusu kazi kwa maskini, hiyo ni upumbavu.
All right, your last comments, Majority Leader.
I think member for Nyali, he had very good points, but he put it in a vulgar language. I mean, he asked the people, in BBI, there must be the health sector, there must be education, there must be infrastructure. But he says if it is not there, you know, ni ujinga. I think that is not the language of a leader.
Okay.
And I'm sure I will not say that in my constituency. And people will look at me and say, what's wrong with this guy? So I think how you package a message, both to your constituency and to the country, matters a lot.
Okay.
And that message must conform to Article, I think, 75 on leadership and integrity, where your demeanor, your language, your actions must portray the office you hold, whether as a state or a public officer.
Okay. And can reggae be stopped?
You know, I'm a Muslim, so I don't listen to reggae. So I don't believe
it. Can the BBI reggae be stopped?
No. I mean, that's for ODM. For us...
But BBI is not for ODM.
No, you know, in fact, the use of reggae itself is wrong. And you know what is synonymous with the reggae people?
Not everyone.
I don't want to say it, yes.
Okay.
And I don't think President Uhuru Kenyatta or Deputy... But what the Deputy President meant...
He said...
Yes, what he meant was...
Yes.
If the reggae you're talking about and the bus with no brakes you're talking about is about profiling communities, it's about hate speech, it's about bringing divisions to our country, it is about shedding blood, as the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, defining constitution, is under obligation, and who sits in the National Security Council of our country, is under obligation at least until 2022 to stop that kind of rhetoric.
Okay.
But if the reggae will be a reggae that will unite people, that will make people embrace, that will end corruption, that will end will not have ethnic profiling, I think nobody will stop it.
Okay.
But if they are going to cause us fight, not only the Deputy President, even the Minister for Interior must stop it. The Inspector General of Police must stop it. The DPP must stop it. The DCI has a constitutional mandate to stop it, and I'm happy they have started stopping reggae by dealing with both sides. Those who want to use the reggae music and the bass to cause disunity and ethnic profiling in our country.
All right. Thank you, Majority Leader. Let's do the final part of the show. And did you know that Deputy President William Ruto has been making headlines for a decade now, or probably even more? Tonight we go back 10 years ago to the day today when there was a mutiny in Parliament over attempts to remove Ruto from a top parliamentary committee. Now the headline then, MPs paralyze House in dispute over Ruto. Now the debate was put on hold as MPs row over the removal of then Minister of Agriculture from the top committee. Now the supporters of then Agriculture Minister William Ruto rallied members of Parliament to paralyze the business of Parliament after he was dropped from an important committee. Now, members of Parliament voted to block a new list of the House Business Committee prepared by the Orange Democratic Party Chief Whip, at that time Jacoyo Midiwo. The MPs saw this as an extension of the differences between him and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And also PNU members of Parliament also complained that there had been no consultation to agree on the changes on that list. Now, Ruto was then Odinga's deputy at the time. A good place to end our show tonight. Thank you for watching, and thanks Majority Leader for coming for our show tonight. And obviously this show continues next week on Tuesday, same place, same time. But I'll be back tomorrow with the team coverage, and you have to look out for this, and also on NTV Tonight on Thursday. On behalf of my team, have a good night and see you.